good people of the world. My name is Anja Milosavljevic, and I'm going to be your host today. Today, my guest comes from Jakarta, from Indonesia, and her name is Poonam. And I read her biography, and it's amazing, but I will leave her to tell you the most important things from her life so far. So this whole project is supported by U.S. Embassy in Serbia, in Belgrade. And the main goal of this podcast is to share stories of successful women all over the world and how they are dealing with this new situation that hit us all. So I hope you're going to enjoy our conversation. Hi, Poonam, how are you?
Hi, Sanya. Lovely to speak to you. Thank you for this opportunity.
No, thank you. And thank you for actually accepting this invitation and sharing your free time with us. As I said in the introduction, I read your CV, I read your biography, and it's amazing. Yeah, because we are part of the IWEC group. So
yes.
Yeah. So you share from time to time. You share some articles and something like that. But I never thought that you have such a wide experience and you did so many things in your life. So can you tell us something about yourself? Like what is your educational background and how you become what you are today?
Yeah, thank you. So I was born and brought up in India. My father was a doctor in the armed forces. So we traveled around India. Every 2 years, he was posted to a new city. And as children, we had an opportunity to go to new schools every 2 years. We had a new set of friends and we learned to adjust. So we learned, we used to look forward to it. The first day was always scary, as you know, the first day of school, but slowly we would make new friends and, learn the new language of that region. And, so it was a great learning experience. And now in retrospect, I think it taught me so much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I got married very young. After I got married, I did my master's degrees. I have 3 master's degrees. So first I did it in biochemistry.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did management and then computer science.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we moved to Indonesia. So my husband moved to Indonesia to set up his own IT company here.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, I joined him after doing my master's in computer science.
Mm-hmm. So, sorry, did this master in computer science help you to participate in your husband's business? Like,
yes.
What sort of master was it? Was it something like in project management in IT or coding and programming? What sort of masters did you do?
So this was computer applications, MCA,
Mm-hmm.
Masters in Computer Applications. And with my previous experience and education in business administration, I think it just kind of helped me. So I didn't start off as being a developer or a coder. I started off as being managing a team to do certain projects.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when I moved to Indonesia, this was a huge new world because I didn't know the language. I didn't know the language in Indonesia. Everybody was new. Everything was new. And it was it was like a splash of cold water, that reality check that yes, now we need to, step up and learn new things, do new things. And that's when I started my first online community called IndoIndians.com, which was a community to aggregate information about Indonesia, which is of interest to Indians in Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
And that is my very niche community portal. It's an information portal and it connects people. It connects Indians in Indonesia as well as people in Indonesia who are interested in India.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll be surprised that there are a lot of people who are interested in Indian culture, Indian movies, and that is a growing community. So it is a very dynamic and interesting place to be in.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, sorry.
Sorry. Continue. Sorry.
So in addition to that, as I mentioned, I'm part of the IT company. I did many projects. In fact, I took ownership of the web division, and we did a lot of interesting e-commerce projects, as well as, so these were starting out, and these were revolutionary, because when it just started off with e-commerce, we started with e-commerce, and we did very large and successful e-commerce sites. And that gave me a lot of insight and a lot of understanding of how e-commerce works. And some of big clients we have is like the likes of Starbucks or Domino's. These have been our clients. So we really work with some of the best brands.
Nice. I like Domino. When I was in India, we were eating for the first, I think, 2 or 3 days before we adjusted to food. We only ate in Domino's pizzas. Yes. So how do you grow community? What time did it take to grow a community? Or was it just easy, like using, I don't know, were there any social media at that time? How did you grow your community?
So when we started in the year 2000, the only thing available to us was email at that time. So we only used email and word of mouth. And people used search engines to find information, because it was very limited information. So what we used to do is to give the URL of our website and say, go visit. And we used to send emails. There was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, Instagram, even WhatsApp. So the only channel of communication was emails, and we had a phone number and people could call us.
But how did you build your email list?
Yes, that was it is still growing, and it is always a process. It's a process where people who are interested will give you their email ID and you can add it. So it is a very organic thing. We were very organic. The community is very, very organic. It is still growing. I would not say that it is done. It's been 20 years and we are still growing. And we do different things every year.
Like what?
And which is like any community.
So during this pandemic period, did your community grow? Did it stagnate? Did it just, what happened? Now that people cannot travel, now that people cannot meet in person.
In fact, the pandemic gave us the opportunity to pivot. Where we had started doing a lot of large offline events, meeting our community members. With the pandemic, there was suddenly this need to connect online. And technology has played a really beneficial part in this growth. We started moving all our events online. So we started doing many informational events online, health-related events online. We also started doing events like meditation, well-being, parenting, anything. And even we did art workshops online, anything that could connect and help people get over this hump. Because during the pandemic, people felt very, very lonely in a sense, because they were all confined to their own homes. So this was, I think, a great learning curve. We also started many groups, WhatsApp groups for community communication, in special interest groups. So just technology helped us grow.
How, I agree that we have to use technology to help us grow. And I think that's the best way to use technology. So why is technology so good? How can technology help us in like everyday lives?
It's just a channel of communication with technology. It empowers a lot of things that you wanted to do, but it has myriad benefits, but it cannot replace the human interaction.
I agree.
We miss that. It's so lovely to speak to you across thousands of kilometers of space virtually, where we are speaking to each other in real time. And that's a big thing. But can you imagine if we were in the same room together, it would have a different dimension altogether.
I know. I actually miss the contact with people, because during this past year I was only seeing a certain circle of people and live. I've seen many people, I don't know, through Zoom, through Skype, through some other channels, but in person I've only seen one limited circle of people, and I really miss that. I really miss going out, going to restaurants, going to traveling or whatever. It would be perfect if we could do this interview like face to face, like I come to Jakarta or you come to Belgrade, whatever. So I read one thing that is really, really interesting for me, that you are a social entrepreneur. Can you tell us something more about that?
So, when we talk about being a social entrepreneur, our investment is in terms of time and our results in terms of the social impact we make in the world around us. Mm-hmm. And I have been on this journey for a long time, and it started off with the understanding that I have to grow from being looking at just me, myself, to looking at a bigger picture as a worldview. So what can I do for my community, or how can I look outwards? Mm-hmm. And it started off by initially by starting off the community portal. And then I got very interested in how I can help the environment around me. So we started a company called 1 Million Trees. Mm-hmm. And we planted 1 million trees in Indonesia. Mostly near Jakarta. And this was a very grassroots driven approach, where we worked with small schools in the villages to actually grow the saplings with the help of the school children. Because the trees to be planted have to be of a specific kind. And we decided on which other trees we wanted to plant, which had the greatest environmental advantage. So we wanted to plant like jackfruit trees, and we wanted to plant some other hardy trees that were of use to not only to livestock and to people. Mm-hmm. So a very simple example why I said jackfruit trees. The jackfruit tree has a very deep taproot system, so it holds the soil very well. Its leaves are very thick and they provide good nutrition to livestock. And the fruit, we all love the jackfruit. We like it raw, we like it ripe. And the wood from the tree can be used only after the tree is 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So the tree is in the ground for at least 20 years. So those were we did a lot of research into which trees we wanted to plant. And then the children, they were encouraged to bring the jackfruit seeds and plant them. So every child, and then we rewarded the school with setting up their computer labs for the number of saplings that they gave us, viable saplings that they gave us. So it started because we had to plant 1 million trees and we wanted 1 million saplings. So if to get to 1 million trees, we needed far more than 1 million saplings. So it was a very interesting project. We got in touch with so many schools, so many school children. We tried to do their library, their computer labs. So it was really a very big grassroots effort. And a lot of people were involved.
Mm-hmm. And who helped you? I mean, planting 1 million trees is, as you said, it's a huge project. Who was involved? You said schools, you said local community, but did you have help from the government or non-governmental organizations? No?
It was all individual funded. Everybody paid for trees. So we said plant a tree. So everybody could pay for a single tree. We had planting days. People could come and plant their own trees, or they could just pay for the trees and we would plant it for them.
That is amazing. Do you plan any similar projects in the future? Is this project still running, or is it
No,
finished?
after we planted 1 million trees,
Uh-huh.
it was a lot of effort, and a lot of the main stakeholders, they kind of moved from Jakarta, and then it became very difficult to continue. The biggest challenge we found was finding land on where to plant our trees.
Mm-hmm.
Because the trees have to be in the ground for 20 years. Where do we find land to plant the trees? That was our biggest challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to cut down a tree. It's very difficult to plant and take care of one.
Oh yeah, I know. Do you plan to make any similar projects in the future?
I would love to. If there was an opportunity, I would be the person standing right in front to do it. A lot of people reach out to me and say, can we do a small tree planting event? And I say, do you have land? If you have land, we can do it. So it is a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I mean, I would like to have some similar initiative here in Serbia, because we definitely need more trees. We have a part in Serbia that was I don't know how to translate it, but it actually means wood or a forest. And now, when you travel through that part of Serbia, you cannot see that much trees, and there are not many forests. Okay, can you tell us something about your engagement with the IWEC Foundation?
So I really like the IWEC Foundation. I have been attached to IWEC since the year 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was an awardee in New Delhi. And it was a wonderful, I was totally amazed at the number of women I met, all of them doing such wonderful and so inspirational. And they were from the US, from South Africa, they were from Portugal, from Spain. And it was an amazing experience to meet up with them and to hear their stories and be very, very inspired. And then I met them again in South Africa, where they had the next IWEC Awards, where I had the good fortune to be able to nominate somebody from Indonesia to be an awardee. And I have been connected to IWEC ever since. What really amazes me is that there are all these wonderful, outstanding achievers. And to be connected to them is, in a sense, being part of their story.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to learn from them. And what other testament to that is but this very moment where I'm able to talk to you. And this is only because of the IWEC network.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And over the last whole year with the pandemic, I think the WhatsApp group has really worked. Means we feel even closer to each other than ever before. So it's a wonderful network. I really, really enjoy it. I feel that as a woman, we should each support and build each other up.
Mm-hmm. I know, I agree. I've been to IWEC Foundation in New York when I was in the States, and I was amazed. I was just sitting in the corner and just listening to the ladies. I didn't even want to, raise my hand and ask a question. I wanted to leave them to finish their stories, and then after that, just ask them something. I was really, really amazed. They're successful, but they are just a regular, normal, healthy persons,
Yes.
that you can talk to. There is no barrier between them and between me. I'm the owner of a small scale business. I'm not that successful or whatever. I don't have achievements or accomplishments, and they are all with achievements and accomplishments, but they are treating and they are talking to us like we are the same, like we're on the same level. So I was really amazed. It was one of my greatest experiences in the States. Can you tell us something about the pandemic in Indonesia, in Jakarta? What is happening? How are you dealing with that? How did that change your life and your business?
Yes, it has been a great change. In March last year, we all went into lockdown. And that was when suddenly, and most of the businesses in Indonesia were not geared for work from home. People were, we have been for years now, the only way we think of work is to get to a workplace, sit in front of your computer and do your work. That is doing work. At home is when you are disconnected from work and you do everything but work. And now suddenly everything was changed. You had to work from home and do everything at home. And it really affected productivity. One, because how can you access all your data which is at your workplace, which is at your work computer? And that was a big challenge. The other challenge was how to be able to effectively communicate with your team members and give them the right data or the right guidance on how to do their jobs properly. And there was also this big change about working at home, where earlier you used to sit on your chair in your cabin and do your work, and now you were at home with your family, with your children, and with all the other baggage that comes with being at home. So it was a big change. And I think you might have also gone through it. I think everybody will understand what I'm talking about. Each of us has gone through it. But I think over time, in June, when things reopened, the first thing that most businesses, including ours, what we did was to set those systems into place. So that we got our project management tools in place, we got our communication tools in, the standard operating procedures in place, so that everybody was, although they were working from home, there was no disruption in doing their work. So that was a very big thing to move forward. And that really, really helped. And it has continued because the restrictions have continued. Even now, there are some restrictions in place where we can only have 50% of the employees at the office. So, because of those tools and those procedures that we have set in place, people can still continue working. I'm still not used to this whole thing. It's nice to be able to work from home, but it's not the same. It's not the same experience for me. When I come back and sit in my office, I feel I can do more. And
why do you think is that? Like, my husband is sitting for a year now at home working, and he said the similar thing. I think last month he said, when I go to work, I'm more productive. He actually works maybe 12 to 14 hours a day, and he said that he could finish the same job for maybe 7 hours when he's at his office. Even though he has colleagues, he goes to coffee, to have lunch, so he has some breaks there, but he's more productive. Why? Why do you think is that?
I think it's the lack of distractions. There's so many things to distract you at home. And at the office, I think it's more about the mindset. Some people have set up home offices where they have set up a room and which is their office. They close the door, they are in the office, and they just do their work. And maybe if this thing continues, we might all start to do that.
Well, maybe it's easier when you're in a tech industry. So, how did pandemic affected your not just the productivity or some processes and communication with the employees, but how did it affect your business in terms of revenue, in terms of communication with clients and similar?
In the perfect world, if you listen to news and you listen to media, they say that tech is booming and hospitality is affected, travel is affected, tech is not affected. But in my own experience, tech is also affected, especially if you're working for clients and if your clients happen to be in F&B space or in the hospitality space. And if you are providing them tech services, then yes, we were affected where that is concerned. Even companies like media companies were affected because ad revenue went down. So everybody kind of decided to delay their projects to next year or delay payments. and or sometimes just delay projects. So because of that, yes, tech companies which service clients from these sectors were all affected. And that is the reality. And we understand what's happening around us. And it has been quite tough for some of our project teams. It has been also tough for some of our employees, because even some of the staff members, if they get in touch with, if they get sick, then yes, then obviously then they're away from office for a long period of time.
And how did you overcome this this obstacle, this problem, this challenge? We can call him differently.
Yeah. Yes, we can call it an opportunity to relook, to recalibrate. And what we did is we spent a lot of the time developing our own software products, which we had kept on the backbench for so long. And because we were always so busy trying to fulfill our client commitments. But now suddenly we had that little space where we could now focus on our own, what we wanted to develop. So we have spent this time trying to enhance our own software products, to develop some new products, and also to find new avenues and new ways to do business. So that is what we are doing at this moment.
What would be the new ways of doing business?
So it's also looking at finding new, like you mentioned that you are now trying to teach the women social media marketing, where we earlier used to have a lot of our client communication or prospect hunting in person. Now we are trying to do a lot of it online. We are trying to do a lot of digital marketing. We are also trying to reach people through Zoom and, actually do like events, online events, tech events, so that we can share what we know with a larger group of people. And hopefully that will translate into some business. But yes, again, the tech tool has helped, because if we were to do a tech event otherwise in normal world, then we would end up spending huge amounts for venue, for food and all that. Now it is just setting it up and getting people to attend.
So can you tell us something about the state of entrepreneurship in Indonesia, and especially with the focus on women running their businesses?
It has been boom time for entrepreneurship. Everybody, I am amazed at how people have taken this so positively and gone ahead and done everything that they thought about earlier. They have taken this opportunity to do. There are so many new entrepreneurs, especially into the food space. Every second person, every second woman I do is now doing some kind of a home-based food business. They're making things, they're selling things, and they're doing it very well. They are spot on. And with some of the basic infrastructure like transportation in Indonesia, they have Gojek. It's a ride-hailing service which also helps to deliver goods. So that has really helped the entrepreneurs to grow this home-based businesses. And they're doing very well.
I'm so pleased to hear that. So is it actually common for women to start their own businesses? Is it something natural and normal? Or
no.
do they have some problems or challenges in running their own businesses?
So earlier they did not have the time or the right motivation, but now with all the restaurants closed, people looking to eat new kinds of things, people willing to try new kind of things, I think this was the perfect opportunity to start.
I know something similar happened here in Serbia, but I think that something similar happened almost everywhere in the world, because we are all in the same situation.
Correct.
So
correct.
Do you have any kind of grants or microfinancing institutions that can help women start their own businesses? Because sometimes, especially if you're like I'm in the food production, you need some capital to start your business. So do you have any kind of help from the government or from other institutions?
So I'm sure there might be some such facility available to small, to micro entrepreneurs. I'm sure there's this facility available. Most entrepreneurs usually start with their own savings or friends help them initially. And that is how most of the home-based businesses have started at this moment. Everybody is strapped for cash. Many people have lost jobs. So this was a way to step forward and, make money, to have a revenue generating opportunity.
And do you, as a company, offer them some kind of a platform, e-commerce platform to sell them? Do you have some kind of a package, like you have huge clients and you have like projects doing with them, but do you have any part of your business that can help, like, those small scale businesses or entrepreneurs to sell their products through e-commerce platforms?
In fact, what we started as a part of last year, we started just before Diwali. We started an online marketplace. So which is connected to our community portal Indo-Indians. So it's an online marketplace called indoindianshop.com, where people can actually have their own shops. So they can sign up as a vendor and they can upload their products and sell it. So at this moment, we have a large number of products which people have. So there are many artists. So in fact, it's an online art gallery with over 100 artworks, all unique artworks. We also have people selling food. They're selling their own little handicrafts. And there's a whole lot of stuff that they're selling online. So yes, we do provide that facility for people to be able to sign up, and payment gateway is provided. All the seller dashboard is provided. So what we are trying to do is we use what we know to be able to empower other vendors.
Nice. So this whole thing is going to end at some point. What are your plans for the future?
I wish it ended ASAP. Once it ends, now the vaccines are coming in, people will be feeling much safer to travel out, and hopefully things will open up. Once things open up, travel, hospitality, etc., everything should be jumpstart back to normal, hopefully. But a lot of the lessons learned during this last 1 year will continue. For example, online tools for collaboration, for working, doing a lot of digital marketing, all these things, even project management, even all the things that we've been using so far, I think they have made a huge impression on all of us. And we might continue using them going forward.
What is how is it like to be a woman in a tech world? In Serbia, we have ladies or running their tech businesses, or girls that are learning how to code and how to program. But you're at a high position in a company. How is it like to be a woman in the world that is predominantly a man's world?
So what I like about the tech world is that there is no overt prejudice against women in the tech world. If you can do your work, and if you're capable at your work, you are perfectly suited to doing it. It's more or less, it's a desk job. You're not doing any physically demanding work. It is more mental than physical. So that is one big thing. The other thing is it allows you to express your creativity in the tech world. That is a big thing. If you're creative and if you are focused, and I find women are more dependable and they are more focused at the work at hand. So they are able to really do very well in the tech world. In fact, just to share with you, my daughter is also a data analyst, and she's working as a data analyst, and she really enjoys it, and she wants to learn more about analytics and do more of tech jobs. And it just shows that more and more women are moving forward in this field, because this is very suited to the way we think.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I've never heard explanation like you just gave us, and I agree. But do you think that there are any kind of differences between styles of running businesses between women and men? Like you said, we are creative. We have some different set of skills than men. But
we are multitaskers.
Yeah. By nature, we are multitaskers by nature.
Yes.
Yeah. So, can you just do you see any differences basically? Because in Serbia we have the term women entrepreneurship. We have entrepreneurship, and then we have like a subterm women entrepreneurship. So, do you make any difference between these two terms or these two styles of running business?
Well, I think entrepreneurship is entrepreneurship. I don't see the difference between how you could call it a woman entrepreneurship. It's just, starting a new enterprise and doing something new, and that's entrepreneurship, and anybody could do it. Mm-hmm. So that is my take on entrepreneurship. As far as what is a leadership style of women and men, I think women are more inclusive, and they are more caring about the people they look after, and the people that are under, with whom they are moving forward. So when there's this new term called the servant leadership concept, or the leader that empowers the people who are with them, I think women tend to do that more. Mm-hmm. Because it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing about caring and taking people with you forward.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I would like to return to social entrepreneurship. I strongly believe that the social entrepreneurship, or the basics of social entrepreneurship, is entrepreneurship for the future. Because yes. if you don't include that social feature of business, then it will. Okay, it can succeed, it can grow, but it's not community based. It's not open to community. So, right. What is your opinion about that?
I totally agree with you. It's social entrepreneurship is about playing a bigger game in life. It's not about just making how much profit you're making. It's about the impact you're making. It's about the legacy you want to leave behind, such that the world is in a better place because of your actions and efforts. And that is actually social entrepreneurship to me.
Yes, the baseline of the social entrepreneurship is what you said. Okay, so can you share something with us, because we reached almost the end of our conversation? What would be your message to the world?
So, one, that you live only once, so you should make the most of it. Do all that you can. Don't feel limited. Everything is possible if you just take the right step forward. Mm-hmm. Again, moving forward is not the absence of fear, but moving forward knowing that you have the courage to overcome all odds.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So what helps you to overcome challenges? Like, what do you read? Do you meditate? Do you walk? What do you do to just, free yourself from the anxiety of staying at home all the time?
So I like to say that there are three things that determine anything. One is your intention, your action, and the result. Mm-hmm. So intention comes from you. The action comes from you. But the results you leave to the universe. So if you stop worrying about the result and just focus on your intention and action, I think 2 out of 3 is good enough.
That is really a good point. So, Poonam, thank you once again. I actually this scarf is from India. I bought
Yes,
it
I
when
can
I was
see
in
that.
yeah. So I brought it today as I don't know, just to be more connected.
Yes, thank you. And we're wearing the same green as well.
Yeah. So thank you once again. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your kind words, and thank you for actually accepting to participate in this project. Good people of the world, you were, and me together with you, we were listening to Poonam from Jakarta, from Indonesia. If you like, you can always follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can always subscribe to our channel. Just type #Mondopreneur and you are going to find us. So stay good, stay in good health, and see you in a week.